never work a night shift at a supermarket because there's something worse than a thief, a customer who appears in every aisle at the same time. It all started when I agreed to cover a night shift. It was only 6 hours, easy money. The supermarket closed at 11, but the manager needed someone to check inventory until early morning. That night, there were only 3 people in the entire building. The security guard at the entrance, the cashier closing the register for the day, and me walking through completely empty aisles. At least that's what I thought. Around 12:30, I saw her for the first time. She was a woman, long hair, dressed entirely in black. She was standing in front of the dairy refrigerator, staring at the bottles of milk. I didn't think it was strange. Maybe someone had stayed inside before closing. So I walked a little closer and calmly said, "Ma'am, we're closed." But she didn't respond. She didn't even move, not a single gesture. So I simply continued with my work. I kept checking products, writing numbers down like nothing had happened. But when I turned into the next aisle, I saw her again. This time, she was standing in front of the drinks, exactly the same, completely still, staring at the shelves. And that's when something started to bother me, because to get to that aisle, she would have had to walk past me. And I hadn't seen anyone pass by. I decided to ignore it. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I was just imagining things. So I kept counting boxers, aisle 7, aisle 8, aisle 9. And when I looked up, there she was again. Now in the bread section, but this time, she was looking directly at me. She didn't blink. She didn't speak. She just smiled. A strange smile. Tu estil. Like she knew something I didn't. A chill ran down my spine. So I grabbed my radio and called the guard. I asked him, "Hey, did someone stay inside the store?" There was a few seconds of silence. Then he replied, "No, the last customer left over an hour ago." At that moment, I decided to check the security cameras. Maybe the woman had entered later. Maybe the guard just didn't see her. I went into the monitoring room. The screens showed every aisle in the supermarket. I looked for the bread aisle. There I was, counting products. And right behind me was the woman, standing less than a meter away. I had no idea she was there. My heart started pounding in my chest. Quickly, I checked another monitor. The dairy aisle. The woman was there too, standing in front of the refrigerator, completely still. I opened another monitor. The drinks aisle. And there she was again. 3 screens, 3 different aisles, the same woman. At the same time, I thought the camera system was malfunctioning, but then something worse happened. On all 3 screens, the women turned their heads at the same time, straight toward the camera, straight at me, like they knew I was watching them. Then they started walking, all 3 of them, at the same time, toward the same place, the central aisle where I was standing. I ran out of the camera room. My breathing was completely out of control. The supermarket was dark, too quiet, and then I heard something. Footsteps, slow, dragging between the aisles. 1, 2, 3 different sounds coming from different directions. I ran toward the exit. But when I turned the last aisle, she was there, blocking the path. The same woman, but now her smile was different. Much bigger. Too big. Like her face wasn't meant to smile that wide. I shouted, "Who are you?" But she didn't respond. She slowly raised one hand and pointed behind me. I turned slowly, and my blood froze. There were 2 more, the other versions, walking toward me from both sides of the aisle. I ran toward the emergency exit. When I reached the entrance, the guard saw how pale I was. I told him there was someone inside the supermarket. We went in together to check aisle by aisle, section by section. But we found no one. The supermarket was completely empty. The guard told me I was probably just tired, that I had probably imagined everything. But before leaving, I decided to check the cameras one last time. And that's when I understood on one of the screens. The exit aisle appeared. I was there, talking to the guard. But behind me, there was a fourth figure, a woman, smiling, looking directly at the camera. And the worst part, when I turned around to check, there was no one there. Since that night, every time I walk past that supermarket, the automatic doors opened by themselves, as if someone else had just walked in